Welcome back to the Fantastic Short Story Society. My name is Max Tim. We have Scott Marcus with us here. We have a couple special guests, and we're going to be watching the trailer for MaxXxine. Right? There's 3 X's in there.
Hit all those X's.
MaxXxine. Is it number 3 in the X series? It is.
Right.
Okay. I'm excited. I saw X. I thought it was pretty fun. Some laugh out loud moments that I don't think I was supposed to laugh at, but nonetheless, it was still enjoyable.
That's horror movies, though, in so many ways, especially slashers. And you have to acknowledge, too, that the triple X of MaxXxine is a nod to that as well. The fact that there's an adult film component, if anybody's seen the original one. But let's welcome our guests before we jump into the movie. It has so much. Isabella, thank you for joining us, and thank you for spending the last several months of your life working on ISA projects. Isabella was a wonderful development intern with us, working with myself and Caitlin and the marketing team. And then our guest brought a guest, MJ. Welcome. She's just about to graduate. This is an all Columbia College chat right now. All 4 of us went to Columbia College in Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah. And MJ, when did you finish the semester in LA program?
My last day was the 3rd. Maybe.
Oh, just recently.
Yeah, I got back here.
You got the hell out of LA.
Yeah. Yeah, I got back here Saturday.
Wow. What did you think of Los Angeles?
I liked it. I still have to get settled in a way. I'm about to go back after I graduate. I have an apartment out with a friend. But I really love Chicago, so
okay.
I have something to compare it to that hasn't met, the same standards I have, but if you love Chicago so much, why are you leaving? Well, for the job opportunities, like what I want to do, I think it's I'm just, giving LA a year. We'll see how it goes.
It's pretty nice that you already know you love a place.
Yeah.
That if you have to go back to it, it's not like it's going to be, a downer. That's great. Congratulations. Isabella, when are you graduating, or have you already?
I graduate next year. But I think I'm going to stay here for a while. For as long as I can. And then hopefully I'll be able to move to LA. Okay. Eventually.
Or you'll work your way up the production ladder in the Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Chicago sewer systems, whatever else they have going on.
Chicago everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, who knows? MJ might make it big, and suddenly you can just move out and live with her.
Yeah, hopefully.
Or vice versa. She could be, Isabella could be show running in no time, and then
that's true.
We'll throw, here you can day play with me as we shoot in Chicago. Yeah.
They're gonna film the Batman here soon, so hopefully I'll be able to PA or something.
Yes. So as somebody that has worked on a Batman movie, I worked on The Dark Knight. They need tons of day players. They need, whether you have a full-time job with them, which fortunately I did, but I came in second half when they were just doing stunts, and they need 1 billion lockups because they shoot big, and you're trying to control Chicago. That takes a lot of manpower.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of opportunities to start earning your days on set, your DGA days, PAing on an action movie, any action movie really, but Batman, that's the best.
That's exciting. Well, so Isabella, you wanted to jump on and be our guest here because you wanted to watch the MaxXxine trailer.
Yes.
So why MaxXxine? Why choose this one?
I love those movies. I've had a great time watching them, and I know you liked the first one too. So I thought this was, and she was coming here. I thought this was going to be a nice activity to do together.
A little activity. Yeah. So what are you both big horror fans?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Scott, we ask this all the time. Well, we asked this of our last fabulous guest. Favorite horror movie?
I love slashers. So I'm big into Scream. I like American Psycho. I like Hereditary a lot.
Me too. I think that would be my favorite.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. I have not seen it. I've heard so many different reviews on it that I'm like, oh God. But I'm also a little scared to watch it.
There's some shocking scenes. Yeah, definitely. Sure.
It's so funny to me to hear going from slashers like Scream to Hereditary, because they're very, very different types of movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm more interested in the supernatural horror.
Okay.
I love Hereditary. I really like The Exorcist. I've watched it a lot.
This year has been really good for horror movies. The first Omen was really great.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Immaculate surprised me too. That was pretty good. So
Abigail and I was surprised.
that was fun.
Haven't we reviewed all these? I think we did.
We did the first Omen.
Yeah.
I wanted to do Abigail, but we just didn't. We ran out of time, and we didn't do Immaculate. But we definitely, with our actually Isabella, you and Elisa, you one of the two of you put videos together about that movie for our Crave Screenwriting magazine Instagram page. But we've definitely talked about it, Max. This has been a tremendous year for horror, and I can't shut up about how great Late Night with the Devil was. And it sounds like you two are really staying current. You're going out to the movies a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have AMC stubs. So.
All right.
I love hearing that. I have not been to the theater since pre-pandemic.
About the movies that you talked about, when talking about slashers, you mentioned some really good ones. Because I'm not a big slasher fan, but you were talking about Scream, you're talking about American Psycho. They have so much more to say than just here's some blood and here's some gore.
Satire.
The satire of American Psycho is mwah. And then of course the meta jokes of Scream. Although I'll be honest, I didn't love the most recent one with Jenna Ortega. Yeah. I felt like that was more of just a slasher, and I completely lost interest. Do you like those?
I honestly agree. I'm a big fan of the first 4, and then 5 and 6. I'll watch them, but whatever.
Yeah, I kind of lost what made that franchise great, in my opinion.
The 7th one is gonna happen. They lost Jenna Ortega and the other girl, I think Melissa, and the directors too. It's kind of a mess, but right now the director attached is the original writer of the other Screams. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that.
Is that Kevin Williamson?
I thought that's Kevin Williamson. Yeah.
That is.
Yeah. And that I did an analysis looking at how Kevin Williamson writes his scenes. I mean scenes, but his actual settings, like his description lines and all that. And he is so good. The original Scream movie, you can find that video on our YouTube and on our pro tips page. But he really paints the picture so well with how he writes action. Yeah. Before you even see the trailer, like what can we learn? What are we getting out of these posters? And I love that Maxine has a whole bunch of different posters out.
Yeah. And they're so retro, man. This is me when I'm 12 years old going to call video down the road with my buddy, and the dude over the side of the counter should not have been renting these movies to us.
This for some reason reminds me of Terminator. I don't know. Okay. I saw Terminator a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know why he's giving Terminator.
I think because of the background's like black.
Pure 80s, baby.
Yeah. It makes me, for some reason, it makes me think of like WWF. Back when it's called WWF. Also, it's probably because it has Max in the title, but it makes me think of Maximum Overdrive, that Stephen King his only movie that he's ever directed himself.
Oh my God, Maximum Overdrive. Wow. Okay.
But it's cool. There's the subtle, it's actually popping more on the screen now, but the shadow of the X over.
Yeah, there's an X on her face.
And then this is such a weird poster because it's a picture of a billboard.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah,
that's very creative.
It's interesting because Maxine is the title of that is almost like the Hollywood sign. So I'm wondering if this must be happening in Hollywood in the 80s.
I didn't realize that. That's really fun.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, the way it's all caps and they're staggered a little bit. It reminds me of the Angeline billboards, which were famous, and if it was bright pink, then extra. But
is this the poster, or is this like a picture of a poster?
No, this is actually one of the posters. This whole thing.
One of the posters.
So if you look closely, you can see the crease lines as if this was like a handout poster that somebody had folded up.
Yeah. And if you look really close, you can see Clark W. Griswold's station wagon.
Totally.
My family and I had that station wagon.
If you don't like it now, wait till you drive it. And I love that there's just some dude sitting here under the tent. Is he supposed to be in the shot? Then again, just it reeks of 80s in like the best kind of way.
Yes. Yeah. I like this one. You can also see the creases in this one.
Yeah. I like that one better.
Yeah.
And then this one again. This one literally is a VHS, as if you're getting it from the video store.
Yeah, that is right out of an '80s video store, man. I love that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, getting into the '80s some more. I mean, she's jazzercising apparently with
her outfit,
with her hatchet.
I do like her hair.
Her hair is.
I think it's still very current.
She's got some of the Farrah hair, maybe.
Yeah.
So we'll dive into it, and then we'll really see how. I mean, this is obviously going to just be dripping with '80s nostalgia.
So, Maxine, your agent tells us you're quite a popular name in adult film and entertainment. Is that correct? I'm curious. Did you always want to be in that line of work?
I always wanted to be famous.
If you need to read off the sides we gave you, just go ahead, all right?
I know the lines.
She turns to the camera and, through her trauma, addresses the lens directly.
There we go.
Name 5 celebrities who got their start in horror movies.
Jamie Lee Curtis, John Travolta, Demi Moore, Brooke Shields, and
Maxine fucking Minx.
I don't like walking out here with that freaking Night Stalker guy on the loose.
The Night Stalker.
Night Stalker?
Night Stalker. Is terrorizing Los Angeles.
I can handle myself.
So said every dead girl in Hollywood.
Maxine, I'm the private detective. I had to find you. My employer is a very powerful man. The best ain't finished with you. They're just gonna keep knocking at your door.
Tragically, another victim of the Night Stalker.
If I knew 3 people who were murdered in 3 days, I'd be pretty scared. What are you hiding, Maxine?
If I tell you something, we've got confidentiality.
What'd you do?
This is the defining role of your career.
Whatever's going on in your life that's interfering with this picture, squash it.
I intend to.
Maxine!
Maxine!
Maxine.
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 You're a fucking movie star.
That cast,
Dude.
Michelle Monaghan, Lily Collins, Kevin Bacon. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
That's so tremendous. They should have had the whole Breakfast Club in there to really get the 80s.
Good cast.
But wow.
All right, so is she going to take on the Night Stalker?
That's
Is
what it
that
seems
what
like.
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't
Because
know.
the Night Stalker is like getting in the way of her career, so she's going to be the one who takes out the Night Stalker.
Wow.
I think she might I don't know, maybe he will try to go after her or something.
It seems like she got a VHS from him, potentially showing evidence what he's doing.
Yeah.
But there's got to be some. Why wouldn't she just turn that into the police? So there's some form of motivation. Like maybe he's obsessed with her, and he's then stalking her next. I love that premise. If that is what's going on.
Me too. It seems very different from the first 2 movies.
Yeah.
I think to prep, you should make sure you're aware of who the Night Stalker is, which is not a fun journey to go on.
I watched a documentary about him a long time ago, but I know of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then see if you still want to move to LA after that.
He isn't around anymore, I think.
He is not. And in real life, he was apprehended in the Boyle Heights area of East LA. The awesome residents of Boyle Heights beat the crap out of him. The cops had to come and save his life.
Yes, I remember that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the word got out. Eventually, they figured out who this guy is that's doing all of these, not just murders, but assaults. There were plenty of survivors as well, but people that were definitely brutalized and victimized that lived. And a police sketch went out. They identified, they knew who he was. And so they knew it was going to be just any day now. Like if he's in LA, we got him because we're going to put this picture everywhere. And it was that morning, the Night Stalker himself was walking down the street and saw his picture on the front of the LA Times and then knew like, oh gosh, I got to get out of town. And he started running. He made himself very well known. He caught people's attention, and then he tried to carjack a couple of cars because he just wanted to flee. And that's where, just one thing one thing after another led to this big chase where the people of Boyle Heights eventually took justice into their own hands.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. That is amazing.
And so it would be really cool if somehow Maxine is maybe one of the people that get the townspeople riled up. Maybe she's at the head of that. I don't know if they can continue to blend the real story.
Right. If they're going to make it historically accurate.
I think that's really fun because I don't think maybe there has to be some out there, but I've never seen like a slasher movie that's based on real life.
Well, it's weird because there's always inspired by.
Yeah.
Yes. But this is really cool where it's taking a completely fictional character and throwing it into the real world. And that is something that, especially in this genre, I don't think I've seen before. Yeah. And as the nerd that loves telling ghost stories, I do have to point out they shoot at Universal Studios, which is where the Psycho House and the Bates Motel is, which is a haunted soundstage, haunted studio. They shot Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein, that soundstage, which is now part of the tram ride. They've repurposed it, but apparently there's ghost stories associated with that.
With just the tram ride?
What's that?
With just the tram ride, or where they shot Frankenstein?
When the tram goes into that one building, that was the soundstage where they shot Frankenstein. Yeah, that.
Nice.
But then also the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, he stayed at the Cecil Hotel downtown LA,
right?
Which is also very popular now because of all these different documentaries and American Horror Stories featured it. I wonder if they'll shoot. I don't think they'll be able to shoot inside that building, but I wonder if they'll use the exterior at all.
Why wouldn't they be able to shoot inside of it?
Just the ownership situation is really strange right now. There's a lot of government assisted housing going on there. So I just imagine a lot of red tape to be able to shoot at a place like that. Yeah.
Well, great choice, Isabella. This was out of all the ones that we've reviewed so far, I think this is probably the one I'm the most excited to watch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I agree. It looks very, I don't know, I think it looks very fun. And I think if this is the last one they're going to make, I think they're going to go out with a bang because that movie looks very exciting.
It really does.
With how popular this will likely be, especially since it's going to be basically a 4th of July release.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to end with this when they're just going to milk this for all it's worth.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I wonder if there's going to be a hint in there if they introduce a character that looks up to Maxine as a mentor type of figure that could spin off and follow her story into the 90s or something.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. We need a 90s Maxine.
Right. I'm curious about the nostalgia factor because we were talking about this in the last one that we recorded, last one of these that we recorded, which was I Saw the TV Glow with Elisa. Just again, the 80s nostalgia, the Stranger Things of it all. What do you think? What is it about looking back in time to the 80s at a time that was before your time? Is it there's some magicalness to that, or what is it for you?
I love watching movies that are older movies because I think just that era looks so cool. Like sometimes I just wish I could have that hair and I could drive those types of cars. Like, but
you can.
Yes, I can. I think the era like really helps it. It adds on to the aesthetic that they're trying to make. Like this movie would not be this movie if it didn't have the aesthetic of the 80s. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't born that I didn't experience the 80s, it's really cool to it's really cool to see how it adds on to the theme of the movie and the aesthetics overall of the movie.
I was born in 79, so my formative first 10 years of my life were the 80s, and everything felt new. It was all this new technology. It was the implementation of video games, and yet there was still this level of innocence where you could still go out and play at night. Like my parents were worried about things. I'd ride my bike everywhere. There was just this, and I think that's one reason why the Goonies is just so loved, because they just capture that childhood feeling of the 80s and wanting adventure, because kids weren't necessarily just staying inside all the time playing games. There was still this semblance of let's go out and play. How often do young kids just go out and play now? Unless they're like 3, you know, right. We were playing until we were 12.
Yeah. I saw kind of a meme, funny post type thing that said, remember back in the day, like 80s, early 90s, there were commercials that would come on and say, hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're not just in their room on their phone. They're actually out and about somewhere.
The fact that there were probably a few parents going, oh shit, where are my kids? That's a little scary.
Yeah.
Well, and also, you know, from a storytelling standpoint, it is scarier when you know not every single person has a cell phone and a direct connection to 911 all the time,
right,
as they do now.
That's why so many like old horror movies and movies that are set in another era are scarier. Because if I was stuck with somebody who didn't want to be stuck, like I would use my phone, call the police.
Right.
But what if I don't have my phone? What if no one has a phone? What if there's nothing I can do but fight it? So I think without the presence, I think that the era just like makes it even scarier.
Yeah.
And because everything was so new, like especially in that time where serial killers were a thing, I think it makes it even scarier.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. Well done, Isabella, MJ. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Enjoy the summer as much as you can.
Yes.
We were saying this to Elisa that I'm very jealous that she's spending the summer just to kind of figure things out. And I was like, oh God, I wish I had one of those summers. Figure it out, you know. But any last words, Scott, before we go?
Last words before the murdering starts.
Before the Night Stalker.
No, well, I guess I'll use this opportunity because the timing works really nicely that the ISA is having a summer bash on June 15th.
Yeah.
June 15th. So if anybody's interested in that, head over to tickettailor.com and look for the ISA. I'll put a link in the description so I don't have to say all this stuff. Yeah. But it's a good place to network, and especially for somebody like MJ who's going to be coming out to LA and needs to make as many new contacts as possible. Or if you've been in LA and still are ready to make more contacts, we can always use more people to talk to. Right. And to make more friends, be social. This is a good opportunity. It's weird that I'm using Maxine to piggyback on this idea. But
you're out by yourself into Los Angeles after watching Maxine.
Right. Yeah. Learning about the Night Stalker. But the idea that we're just talking about, which is going out and figuring things out this summer. Let's figure it all out together at the ISA Summer Bash.
Nice. Nicely done, Scott. Nice done. Well, Isabella, MJ, thank you so much. Everybody watching, it's always a pleasure to do this. Of course, if you have your thoughts and opinions on Maxine, or if you want us to review any other upcoming movie, put it into the comments. Like, subscribe, as you hear all the time. But if you hear of any amazing stories, let us know, because you might just be inducted into the Fantastic Story Society as we go.